Humans possess a highly developed system for homeostasis. The main homeostatic organs are the lungs, skin, and kidneys. During cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is produced due to the breakdown of organic substances. From cells, carbon dioxide diffuses into the blood via tissue fluid. Carbon dioxide is an acidic gas which decreases the pH of blood, making it acidic. The normal pH of blood is between 7.3 to 7.4. This results in the disturbance of many chemical reactions in our body. Therefore, it should be removed quickly and immediately. Blood transports carbon dioxide from tissue fluid to the lungs for its removal through the respiratory passage. Our skin removes sweat through sweat glands, which contains water, salts, and a small quantity of urea. Skin also performs an important role in thermoregulation. The skin consists of the epidermis, which is the outer layer of skin, and the dermis. There is a thin layer of fat cells, known as adipose tissue, around and beneath the dermis, which acts as an insulator. The sensory nerve endings of the skin are stimulated by cold and warm temperatures. The contraction of small erectile muscles, which are attached to hair, forms goosebumps or hair erection. This creates an insulating blanket and prevents heat loss from the body pattern. Similarly, when the body becomes overheated, the hair erectile muscles relax to remove extra heat. Excess heat is also removed through the evaporation of sweat. Kidneys are major excretory and osmoregulatory organs in humans. They remove nitrogen-containing wastes like urea, uric acid, ammonia, and creatinine, as well as drugs, used hormones, excess salts, and toxic substances. Kidneys maintain water balance in the body by either absorbing or removing water. They also help in the maintenance of blood and lymph composition. The urinary system of humans, also known as the excretory system, is a vital part of our body's function. This system consists of a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a single urinary bladder, and the urethra. The kidneys, which are placed below the diaphragm in the abdomen, are situated one on each side of the vertebral column. Interestingly, the right kidney is positioned a bit lower than the left kidney to make room for the liver. These kidneys are bean-shaped and can be either red or dark brown in color. They are enclosed in a thin membrane known as the peritoneum. In the center of each kidney, there's a depression called the hilus, which acts as a gateway. This hilus receives and sends blood via the renal arteries and renal veins. It also gives out a ureter, which is responsible for draining urine to the urinary bladder. Urine is formed in the kidneys and then brought to and temporarily stored in a thin-walled sac called the urinary bladder. Finally, urine is removed from the body through the urethra. The internal structure of the kidney is quite fascinating. A longitudinal section of each kidney internally shows two distinct regions. The outer dark brown region is known as the cortex, while the inner lighter yellowish region is called the medulla. In the center of each kidney, there is a hollow cavity that continues with the ureter, known as the pelvis. The medulla is composed of about a dozen renal pyramids. Each kidney consists of more than 1 million urinary tubules called nephrons. Now, let's delve into the structure of the nephron. Each nephron has two major parts, the renal capsule or corpuscle and the renal tubules. The renal capsule is the proximal blind end of the nephron. It consists of a cup-shaped Bowman's capsule and a cluster of blood capillaries in its concavity known as the glomerulus. The renal tubule continues from the renal capsule and acts as a filter refinery consisting of three parts. The proximal convoluted tubule is the first part, while the second part is U-shaped and called the loop of Henle. The last part is the distal convoluted tubule. Several distal convoluted tubules of nephrons unite to form a single collecting duct. Many collecting ducts join together to form a renal pyramid which opens into the pelvis of the kidney. The function of the nephron, or kidney, is urine formation. There are several steps in the process of urine formation. First, pressure filtration occurs. In this process, fluid is separated from the blood in the glomerulus. The filtrate pours into the Bowman's capsule and then into the renal tubules. The hydrostatic pressure in the glomerulus, created by heart contractions, is greater in the capillaries than the fluid pressure in the tubule. This pressure filters everything from the blood that is smaller than the pores of the glomerulus. The filtrates include water, salts, sugars, medicines, nitrogenous wastes, hormones, toxins, and more. Next, Tubular reabsorption takes place. Almost all useful substances in the filtrate are reabsorbed from the renal tubule into the peritubular capillaries. This includes about 90% of water, 75% of salts, and all of the glucose. Finally, tubular secretion occurs. Tubular secretion is the transfer of materials from the peritubular capillaries to the renal tubular lumen. It is the opposite process of reabsorption. Usually, only a few waste substances are secreted, including drugs, toxins, excessive hydrogen ions, potassium ions, and urea. This step helps to maintain the normal pH of the blood. The varied concentration of urine depends on the availability of water, which shows that kidneys also function as osmoregulatory organs. The antidiuretic hormone secreted from the posterior pituitary gland transports water from the filtrate in the distal tubule and collecting duct by making them more permeable to water. The stimulus for the secretion of this hormone comes when a person is dehydrated due to excessive sweating or less drinking. Similarly, the aldosterone hormone, secreted from the adrenal gland located above the kidneys, promotes the reabsorption of sodium ions and the excretion of potassium ions.